Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
Why does it say? Look what it did. It changed cameras on us for no reason. Oh, that's all weird. Right there at the last minute. There it goes. Well, that was all weird right there at the beginning of the show. So welcome to Late Night Love, where we talk about all things love. And tonight we're talking about National Cat Month. Time to appreciate our furry friends. And where's the little devil? Is he still in here?
No.
No, she kicked him out because he's a bit of a troublemaker, as cats tend to be. But we do kind of appreciate their personalities, the individual personalities that cats come with. And there's 94 million cats or so in the U.S., somewhere around 2017. So there's probably a little bit more than that. So, and what is it? Cats have been worshipped by many cultures throughout the history. Some say they're good for your health. You can lower your blood pressure, have companions, that kind of thing. You know, but we spend what? We're going to find out how much we spend is what we're going to do. We're going to find out how much we spend and how much that's going to increase with inflation this year. Geez, that's kind of a thing. And how do you budget this kind of stuff? So, but before we get started with all that, we want to remind you, you can find us at latenightLove.us. And if you want to send us a question, comment, suggestion, blah, 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 you can do it at latenightLove.us. Okay, Lovey. So it was National Cat Month. And so, of course, we have discussion about cats.
One of my favorite pets. I like dogs, but I prefer cats as pets.
Yeah, dogs are more maintenance, are a bit more maintenance than cats do. Cats you can kind of leave to themselves. Dogs you gotta like walk them every day and do all kinds of stuff.
Wash them.
Yeah.
Bathe them. Yeah.
Cats are far easier. But, of course, in a sense, dogs are more loyal. So, there's that.
You know, you don't get a tail wag when you come home, you know. There's nobody excited to see you with a cat. With a cat. They'll complain that you didn't come home sooner, but,
Yeah, so, the cat...
Or like me, I was gone for 5 days. Mine got ticked off until I took a shower. I smelled like a dog.
Yeah, so, that tends to happen, right? All right, so what do we want to start with?
The number of cats in the U.S.
All right. All right, number of cats in the U.S. And this data only goes till 2017. And in 2017, it was
approximately 95.6 million cats living in households in the United States.
That's living in households. That's not the strays. Right?
Some 68% of U.S. households own a cat at least once.
Yeah. Makes sense. I have no idea where you're at, so you're just going to go.
I'm done.
No, that was it?
We're done with that. Number of cats. That's all we were going to discuss.
All right, so there's a lot of cats, which, if you think about it, there's, 330 million or so, 340 million people in the United States. 94 million cats. About 1 in 3 of us has a cat in the house, at least.
I understand that the
Well, there's
The
cat ladies.
cat ownership went up during the pandemic, so those numbers didn't reflect what's going on now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of kitty cats out there with a lot of homes. All right, so 101, 104 interesting cat facts. Did you pull a few of these out that you like?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, we can whip through some until we.
Yeah. Cats don't have a sweet tooth. That's strange.
Dogs do, but cats don't.
Yeah.
I love this. When a cat chases its prey, it keeps its head level. Dogs and humans bob their heads up and down.
Yeah, here's one. The technical term for a cat's hairball is a bezoar. Is that from the sound it makes? Creating those things. That's all I can think of. Cat can't climb down headfirst down a tree. Ah. So to get down a tree, a cat has to back down because its claws don't work in the downward position. That's interesting. Because the claws aren't designed to do that.
Cats make about 100 different sounds. Dogs only make about 10.
Now we'll skip number 7. 500 million domestic cats in the world. The oldest known pet cat thingy was found in a 9,500-year-old grave on the Mediterranean island of Cyprus. So that's a big 4,000 years before the Egyptians. So that's interesting.
So cats have been around for a long time, being a pain in the patootie.
Yeah. During the Middle Ages, cats were associated with witchcraft. So there you go.
First cat in space was a French cat named Felicette, aka Astro Cat, in 1963.
Okay, approximately 40,000 people are.
Oh, by the way, she survived the trip.
Approximately 40,000 people are bitten by cats in the U.S. No, approximately 40,000 people report being bitten by cats annually in the U.S. About how many cats were there? 94 million? So about 94 million people, at least, get bitten by cats. And cats gonna bite.
This is delightful. According to Hebrew legend, Noah prayed to God for help protecting all the food that was stored on the ark from being eaten by rats. In reply, God made the lion sneeze, and out pops a cat.
Here's one for our cat. The cat rubs against people not only to be affectionate, but also to mark its territory with scent glands around its face. The tail area and paws also carry the scent. So no wonder that stinking cat always is rubbing his face on my legs.
Well, apparently we stink to them.
Yeah. Anyway. Researchers don't know how a cat purrs. Our cat purrs constantly, essentially.
From vocal, it comes, the cat purr comes from vibrating vocal cords deep in the throat.
Hey, smuggling a cat out of ancient Egypt was punishable by death. Don't take the cats out of Egypt. The earliest ancestor of the modern cat lived 30 million years ago, they say.
There we go.
Yeah. Persian cat's the most popular cat. All right, do we have to go?
Where are you?
I'm just skipping down until I find
Okay,
something.
a cat usually has about 12 whiskers on each side of its face.
Really? I'm gonna have to look at him next time and see. It didn't look like that many, but it doesn't necessarily. I've never paid that much attention.
Spanish Jewish folklore recounts that Adam's first wife, Lilith, became a black vampire cat sucking the blood from sleeping babies. This may be the root of the superstition that a cat will smother a sleeping baby or suck out the baby's breath.
Hey, here's one. Isaac Newton invented the cat flap. Newton was experimenting with in a pitch black room. Spithead, one of his cats, kept opening the door and wrecking his experiment. The cat flap kept both Newton and Spithead happy. Why would he call it? Anyway, maybe Spithead meant something different. This is a ways ago. Cats don't actually meow at each other, just at humans. They'll spit, purr, and hiss at other cats. You know why they meow? Because it sounds like babies.
Oh.
And so they're mimicking babies as best they can.
The oldest cat on record was Cream Puff from Austin, Texas, who lived from 1967 to August 2005, 3 days after her 38th birthday.
Let's see.
Cats spend nearly a third of their waking hours cleaning themselves.
A 2007 Gallup poll revealed both men and women were equally likely to own a cat. Yes, a cat. The question is, who's most likely to own 6? That's the question.
The cat heart beats nearly twice as fast as a human heart.
Cool. Cats are extremely sensitive to vibrations. They're said to detect earthquake tremors 10 or so 15 minutes before humans can. And loud, and I'm assuming loud bass music. There you go. A female cat is called a queen or a molly. So there you go. That's where the queens come from. Here's one. The richest cat is Blackie, who has left $15 million by his owner, Ben Ray. Cats can drink seawater? Really? Researchers say your cat does know her name. She just doesn't care. Which somehow wouldn't surprise me. If that were true. The cats just don't care what their names are. They just don't care all that much. But you know what we do care about, when we talk about our pets and, our budgets. Trying to squeeze our love of our pets and our budgets in together can sometimes be a bit of a trick, right? It's not as easy as we sometimes like. So how much money do we spend on our furry little friends? And so who crunched the numbers? Somebody crunched the numbers.
124 billion was spent on our furry friends in the U.S.
That's a lot of money. And you can find all the links to this stuff at our website, latenightlove.us. Okay.
This is from 2003.
Okay. So these things have probably greatly. Wait, it says updated on January 9th, 2023.
Yeah.
So it says they're at least updated. All right, so they're relatively decent numbers. The average American pet owner will spend $1,480 a year on their dog, $900 on their cat, and somehow I don't think that's just, what is that, on food? Food is expensive. Cat and dog owners spend on vet visits, pet visits.
Pet visits. Yes, they have conjugal visits.
Food and boarding. Highly educated, middle-aged people with an income. Yeah, imagine that. People between 55 and 64 who make $100,000 and $150,000 spend the most on their four-legged friends. Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Those who have the money spend it.
Yes, but who doesn't spend it is people who have a lot of money. They know when to, they call time out and put them out their misery early. So it's an interesting group of person who does it. Because you would think people with more money would spend more money. but it stops at 150. It goes back down. It's like people that make more rational choices when you make more money than that.
Apparently.
I don't know. Or is it a rational choice? That's the other question. That's a philosophical question. Okay. More and more people are insuring their pets. Well, yeah, because vet bills are becoming expensive.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
the third most expensive item is kennel boarding. A dog owner spends $228 a year for this service, but cat owners only spend $78.
Well, yeah. How much was it to board for our kitty for a day?
It was $40.
Yeah, but she tried to only charge us the 20, and we'd give her a $20 bill. We had to you had to leave it on the couch or something.
I had to leave it on the couch. Yeah, she wouldn't take it. She was fabulous. She texted me the whole time our pet was there. She did like every hour. And so, and so she deserved a tip. She deserved more than $20.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what do we got? Total pet spending. It increased a lot over the course of the pandemic. Look at the jump. 104 billion in 2020, 124 billion in 2021, and that's before inflation, right? That was before the inflationary period. So that's a huge jump. So cost of owning a dog versus cat. Cats generally cost less because they need less care. Let's be frank, right? You just need less care. They're less likely to break stuff unless you've got, a dog that's smaller than a cat. And then I don't understand those dogs, by the way.
That do what?
The dogs that are smaller than cat. What's the purpose? I don't get it.
It's like having a toddler all the time.
Why? Those things are just anyway. That's my personal opinion. And we're being nice to pets. It's National Cat Month. Oh, that's right. But that's a dog, so we can be mean to dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or mean about dogs, not mean to dogs. We can't be mean to dogs.
No, we're not mean to dogs.
But we could be mean about dogs for a month. It's Cat and Dog Month. Okay. Pet spending by age. Yeah, again, it's the people, oddly enough, our age.
55
to 64.
Yeah.
Who spend the most. It's where you have the most disposable income, I suspect, is why that is. Now, this one's got a little bit strange. Less than high school spend a lot. People with high school diplomas spend the
least.
Bachelor's degrees, but master's and doctor's degrees spend the most. Well, I suppose it kind of makes sense because they have more money, but still. It's less than high school spend a lot. High school graduates don't have the money for it, so they don't spend it. But where are these people coming from? Or are they married to these people at the side? Then they're married and they're getting counted. I don't know. Pet insurance has jumped up.
It's really jumped up a lot since 2018.
Yeah.
Dogs it's increased by 28%.
Yeah, it's gone up a lot. So, we as human beings, it's kind of first world problems, right? But I'd rather have first world problems than third world problems. And it just is what it is, I suppose. But it does make you pause sometimes, does it not? To think about priority, how much we spend on pets or entertainment. Wow.
Versus how much we give to charity.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's not a call for someone else to point fingers at, except for the person in the mirror. And that's not
Yes.
a judgment for people to make but yourself. So that question at that. And we are going to move on to questions from what Bubby has dug up on Reddit, I think, this week.
Yes.
All right, and we want to remind you that you can like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. You can send us your own question at love@latenightglove.us or find us on social media and ask that way. Okay. What is next, me love?
Well, let's dive right in. Boyfriend, 31 male, wants to charge me 29 female rent. My sister, 27, thinks he's acting like a landlord. Does this undermine our relationship in any way?
Well, I'm assuming you're sharing an apartment, right? And
Yes.
if you're sharing an apartment, wouldn't it be not unreasonable to ask you to share some of the cost of the apartment? Maybe he put it uneloquently, but it's not an unreasonable request to say, hey, you live here, can you pay part of the cost of the roof?
Yeah.
It's not an unreasonable request. Maybe he didn't, frame it in the best way. But which would be my guess. It's more of the way, it's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. My guess is that's what this is more like. Spakes wants to charge you rent, or is that her interpretation of what he said? We don't know. But anyway, on its face, it's not an unusual. It's not a
but
unreasonable request.
Perhaps he didn't phrase it
Perhaps he
in the
didn't
most
phrase it, yeah,
gentle way.
or maybe she's only spending a lot of time there and not really living there.
That's true.
And so that's another option. And so that may be a different, maybe it's his way of bringing up the question because he's not good at conversation. And so he's stumbling over himself. But at 31, you don't get a lot of leeway for that. I give a 21-year-old a lot more leeway over that, having a difficult conversation than a 31-year-old. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That's dog days years right there.
Yeah, I mean, he should know how to have a difficult conversation. But she should also, at 29, she should know be able to receive a difficult conversation. So my guess, there's a bit of miscommunication here somewhere, and you solve that, and it doesn't on the surface, it doesn't seem like an
No.
Okay.
All right. My 39 female husband, 41 male, let his friends exclude me yesterday, and now I'm realizing how spineless he is. How do I save a marriage of 16 years?
Well, maybe they didn't want you around for a reason. You ever consider that? It's all I've heard is I wanted to be included in something. People didn't want me included, and so now my husband is spineless. It didn't tell me what they were doing, what the point of their excursion was. Maybe him and his friends wanted to go fishing, and by themselves without their wives around, and then you wanted to butt in on their day out. I don't know. Maybe you're being pushy. People can have lives other than that don't surround you. I'm kind of getting that vibe because all of a sudden it's now he's spying us. How do I save a marriage? Because they didn't want to take you with them on some outing that they wanted to go by themselves on? I'm not getting it. I'm thinking someone needs to look in their own mirror. His friends didn't want you to go for a reason. Maybe you're the one being pushy and they're not necessarily excluding you. Maybe you're just not all that fun to be around. You're a little dramatic. I was excluded once my marriage is over. My husband is spineless. Maybe he is spineless. Maybe your marriage is over. Or maybe you're seriously overreacting and that's why they don't want you alone. I'm just saying, there's a couple options there for you. Take which one you can handle. Okay, what's next?
I, 34 male, am no longer physically attracted to my fiance, 33 female. How do I tell her without making her feel inadequate? Uh, I don't know if that's possible.
Well, yeah, you can't get them to change your feelings, but also this is one of those things. Time heals someone's. Uh, let it pass. If all your emotions are still there, the physical attraction thing will come and go at times. It's part of a long-term relationship. It just happens. There's times you are not less attracted to him. Now, maybe it's a symbol that you're not as in love as you thought you were, or maybe you're going through a period of time where you're not finding anybody particularly attractive, and there's a depression or something to deal with. It may be other things to look at rather than maybe you're getting cold feet and you're looking for excuses.
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
There's 100. We're talking human psychology, man. Could be all kinds of issues that slow things down.
Well, maybe just a couple sessions with a counselor might clear things up.
Yeah, or go talk to a trusted friend, rabbi, whatever, whoever your trusted confidant. Go have a couple beers or whatever adult recreation activity is with your best friend and talk about it. There's 100 ways to deal with this rather than blow your marriage, your potential marriage up because you having a feeling at the moment. So that would be my suggestion. Kind of examine where it's actually coming from because it could be something as simple as, momentary depression or perfectly natural cold feet or, all kinds of things. Stress can do that kind of thing to you. So, yeah, I would slow down is what I would do. Okay, what's next?
Okay. Girlfriend, 23 female, put a photo that she knew I, 26 male, didn't want anyone to see. And said I was, she posted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Said I was overreacting when I asked her to take it down.
Well, she's an adult and she can post what she wants. Really, I mean, as long as it's of herself and it's not like she posted something of you. Right?
She posted something of him.
Oh, of him? Because it sounded like maybe she posted, a bikini pic and he was all bent. Right?
Oh.
That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Oh, a bikini. Oh, I see. Yeah, I misread that one. That's very true.
So it depends on what it is. If she posted a sexy pic of herself, or she thought she looked good, and she wanted her friends and whatnot to see it, so she posts it, and you don't like it. Well, it's perfectly fine for you to express that you don't like it. It is unreasonable for you to ask her to take it down. Now, if she posted a picture of you that you found unflattering, asked her not to post it, and she posted it anyway, that's a different discussion, right? Because then that is a disrespect of you and those kind of boundaries. But she's a grown woman, and if she wants to post a picture, she can post a picture. And if you think it's a boundary too far, then that's one of these things in your relationships that you learn about and find out about each other. But she's going to express herself whether you like it or not. So you're going to have to learn to deal with it or not. That's kind of that one. And if she is disrespecting you by posting a picture of you that you didn't want, then that's a whole other thing. Go find yourself a new girlfriend. Okay, just or boyfriend, depending upon whichever one that is, kind of thing. Okay, go find a new partner if that's the case. Right?
There we go.
If your partner is posting pictures of you that you ask them not to, that's reason to move on. But if they're posting pictures of themselves, you have every right to do that. You make decisions based upon that. All right, what's next?
18-year-old, so we're going to move into parenting.
Oh, yes, my favorite ones. The ones with no right answers. Yay.
18-year-old son refusing to get a job. How do I motivate him?
How do you motivate an 18-year-old? Motivating a teenager is the hardest thing in the world because fundamentally they have to motivate themselves. So the question is, how do you get him to motivate himself? And I don't know. You try and find stuff that they're interested in. For an 18-year-old, one of the easiest places to get a job right now is at a fitness center. 24-hour fitness or what you call it? What's the other one?
Planet
Planet
Fitness.
Fitness. Yeah, as a check-in person, you wipe down things. You can learn the basics of getting a job, and then you have the option of getting healthy while you're doing it. Meeting a bunch of people who are healthy, and it is what it is. But how do you motivate them? That's so independent of the child involved, of the person involved. There's no way to know. There's just no way to know. Find out. You know what motivates them, so you just figure out a way. I don't know. There's no specific way. I don't have an answer, a good answer to anyway. I just don't. There's no singular good answer to that question.
Well, I wonder if maybe if he isn't depressed or maybe, he doesn't want to grow up.
Well, it's hard to know without more background. It could be anything. It could be 100 things.
Yeah.
It could be a lack of confidence. It could be a lack of social skills. It could be a lack of opportunity, so he's given up. He could be the low achiever of his friend group, so he's depressed, and so it's hard to know. One thing you might be able to do is if he's got a best friend that you can talk to, talk to his best friend, and you can find out at least if he's depressed, and then have a talk chat with your child. But the best way is to just keep an open, honest dialogue with them without kind of being overly judgmental until you find out what's actually going on. Because you want to know if it's one thing if he's just being lazy, and it's another thing if he's dealing with issue, or maybe he is trying to find a job and he's just not successful at it because most jobs now you can do on your phone, right? You do Zoom meetings and Zoom interviews, and you apply online. It's not the same like when we were kids at 18. You literally opened the phone book and sat at the phone, or and went out there and filled out an application, and as you sat down in the waiting room, that's not what happens anymore. So
No, everything's online.
everything's online, so it can look like they're being lazy when they could really be working hard trying to find something. And maybe the problem is their strategy. You know, is hey, take something easy, get a couple wins under your belt. You know, find something that's openly looking for a job. Oddly enough, walking down to the local strip mall, seeing something with a help wanted sign, walking in, it's probably a good way to find a job these days. You know, and point out opportunities without being judgmental. Don't like pin them up on the thing. Don't make a big huge deal about it. Just tell them as you say, hey, I saw a thing at the what should I call it? Hey, I think it just becomes part of natural conversation. And if you're open about the conversation the entire time, he knows you're not being overly pushy. You're just offering opportunities. And that's the best I got. Good luck. There's stuff out there.
There is.
There is stuff out there. Okay, so what's next?
It is. Okay. This is more adult child relationships. Kids and tats? Okay, they're talking about kids over 18.
Well, okay, my personal theory is you don't put bumper stickers on a Ferrari, right? And so, which is why that's my suggestion to everybody. Wasn't successful with my daughter, but she's an adult. She can do what she wants. She's earned the money to pay for it. It's her choice, just like everything else they do. You raise them and you let them off into the world, and you accept them for who they are. There's worse things they could be doing, so you be thankful for that.
I went with my girls when they turned 18 and we got their first tattoo together.
Yeah, there's
And
it's a personal thing.
I knew they were going, and they since got more tattoos. It was part of their generation, and I wanted to educate them how to pick a good tattoo artist, what to look for, the cleanliness, word of mouth, costs.
Mhm.
I wanted them to. I didn't want them going into it on their own.
Yeah. No.
I knew they were going to anyway, and they did.
Yeah. Well, my daughter did, and I was always telling her not to put bumper stickers on Ferraris. So how will that one work? So they're gonna they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So it is what it is. Accept their decisions on that one. There's worse things they can do.
Yes.
Yeah. Just tell them not to put tattoos on their forehead or something. Okay. What's next?
12-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl always playing together. Weird.
Well, depending upon circumstances, is there anybody else to play with?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I mean, if if that's your only opportunity to have another person to interact with, that's even close to your age group, that's who you're going to interact with. So is it weird? Probably if you're from the city, but if you're in a rural area and
They're neighbors.
yeah, well, then no, it's not weird at all. It's perfectly natural. They probably more like brother and sister than anything at this stage.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you have the sex talk with your kids? Well, I never sat down and had the sex talk. I they started asking questions when they were children. Very simple questions. Where do babies come from? Well, babies come from the mommy's tummy,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you answer it in the simplest possible terms until they start at asking more questions. Yeah, but how does it get there? That's when the big question. And I use just in correct medical terms too, in its simplest form, to explain what happened.
Yeah, there was never a sex talk. It was lots of little talks over the course of their life. There was no singular sex talk. So that's again, it's continual open communication at the level they can take it. Or the other option is you empty a room, you put two chairs in it, you get some big studio lights, and then you sit them down and say, "We need to have a talk," and you sit down like an interrogation. You have to talk. Bust out a book, flip charts, and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, right. Like you're gonna do something like that.
I didn't say me. I said them. They can do that, not me.
That's right. Scare them.
Well, they'll never want to talk to you about it again. That's for sure. Okay, so that's what is it? How do you raise teenagers? You treat them like explosives. You put them off somewhere over there and go away and cover your ears. Hope nothing gets hurt. Process. It's another way to raise teenagers. It's not very effective, but it's one way to do it.
Well, raising teenagers is like herding cats.
But no, herding cats is a simple task compared to raising teenagers. All you have to do is get a laser pointer and some squeezy cat toys. You've got 99% of them. And tranquilizer guns for the rest. Okay. All right, so on to work questions.
My coworker called me a racial slur. Should I tell HR?
It says a slur.
Well, in the big one, in the
Okay.
for the larger explanation. It was a racial slur.
You can deal with there's many ways to deal with this depending upon the relationship you have with the person involved. If it's someone with who you have a relationship that you can have an honest discussion with, you can go and have an honest discussion with and avoid HR because HR is just throwing pain in the butt. But if it's someone you can't have a discussion with, then you go deal with it. Sometimes, especially in things like warehouses or assembly lines, things can happen and get heated and people say things they don't mean, right? Just like every other argument, right? People say and do things they don't necessarily mean, and you can deal with it as men or as human being, right? But sometimes there's not, and you have to go because it's just not your place to deal with, or sometimes you just don't feel like dealing with it. But by the very fact you're asking the question, should I tell HR? You don't want to go deal with bureaucracy and the HR and filling out the paperwork and having to deal with all that. That's its own pain in the butt. So the question is, is this someone you can deal with, person to person, human to human level? And if you can, then start there. Because you're always going to make more movement that way. If you actually want to make a difference, you're going to make more difference on a person to person level than, going to HR.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not your place. It's not necessarily your duty. It might not necessarily be your place. And it might not be the person to do it with. So you have to make that judgment call on your own.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Currently on LMLA. I don't know what that means, but it's like a leave of absence. Yeah. Should I take this time to look for another job?
Should always be looking for another job, or at least have your eyes open for other opportunities. Because that's how you're going to get your biggest promotion. What is it, maternity? Long-term maternity leave of absence? I don't know. Something like that. But yes, always keep your eyes open for another opportunity. Remember, it's their job, not yours.
Actually, I remember this one. They were on a medical leave for alcoholism. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that particular case, if your company has stood by you this particular time, you may want to have some show some of the loyalty they showed you. So it really might depend upon the attitude that the company has had. If they're supported you through this, then maybe you have a moral responsibility to go back there and show the same support. There is that argument.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if they were the reason you started drinking, then it's a different question, right? If the stress at the job is intolerable and it will contribute to your desire to drink again, then you have a duty to yourself to find something else. So it really kind of depends on which one of those things it is. So,
yeah.
Okay.
How do I manage 12 to 14-hour work days?
Same way everybody else who has to work 12 to 14 hours. You just do. Because here's the thing. Depending upon what your 12 to 14-hour workday is, you're probably not working and burning as many calories, or you're mentally fatigued. And so to deal with mental fatigue is you take small breaks throughout the day. Instead of one 15-minute break, take 3 5. Get up, walk around, go back, sit back down. I don't take 15-minute breaks. And no one say anything to OSHA because the state will get mad. I don't take my 15-minute breaks. I take a break whenever I need one. My boss is perfectly fine with it. I'm productive. Sometimes I probably get more break time than but most of the time I probably get less. I'll forget to take a break. And then sometimes I'll get up and go, take a walk around the block. I don't wait till break time. But the nature of my job allows for that. So, not everybody can do that kind of thing. You can't do that if you're on assembly line. That's not how it works. So, but there's lots of people who do. Lots of entrepreneurs work 12 to 14-hour days. Construction workers who work really, especially in the summertime when you've got, a short building season. They work a lot of hours and they manage. You just manage. You just kind of manage your energy. You don't burn it all in the morning. You pace yourself throughout the day. So you still have some for the night. And what you do is you limit your things like your alcohol consumption at the end of the night. You save all that for the weekend, and you rest when it's rest time. So essentially, if you're working 12 to 14-hour days, then your other 10 hours is eating, showering, and sleeping. That's what it is. And you hope that long term the money's worth it. Okay. But there's no secret to it. It's a mental thing. Okay.
Okay, jobs where I don't need to think as much.
It depends what you mean by think. Like something that's easily repetitive, where you just kind of follow instructions. Warehouse work is pretty repetitive. Small manufacturing is fairly repetitive. Easy customer service jobs. Back to the things like the fitness center job. Janitor's not too bad. You can get a good office building janitorial job. Yeah. It's hard work, but it's kind of mindless. Of course, the problem is if your problem is thinking, you've got lots of thinking time. And so you're still going to be thinking. It's just not going to be about.
Yeah, she's a creative person. She wants to spend her her time away. She doesn't want to be a starving artist. She wants to have a job where she makes enough money to get by, and then so she can do her passion.
So that's called a starving artist. And I'm sorry to break it to her. That's what a starving artist does. You get a job that makes just enough money so you can feed your passion. That's what a starving artist does. Now, I actually get not wanting to include your art in your work, right? Because once art becomes work, it becomes a job, and you kind of lose your passion. My suggestion is find something in the nonprofit field or with like your local parks and rec. So you can have a little bit of arts, a little bit of fun, and still having a little bit of security. So that would be my suggestion. Yes. Look for something in the nonprofit or your local parks and rec department, something like that. Okay. Because it's a city job, you don't need to think. Just do what they tell you. Okay, what's next?
Okay, my female 33.
Wait, just as a disclaimer, we're moving on to the more adult theme of the section of the night, even though we do try to keep these as family friendly as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's that disclaimer.
All right.
All right. What's next?
My 33 female boyfriend, 30 male, who I've been with just over a year, has told me he wants a cuckold relationship where I sleep with other men and desire them, then tell him about it. It makes me feel awful, and I don't know what to do. Yet this is what's known as a deal breaker, and I'm sorry.
Well, if she's not into it and it makes her feel bad, then yes, it's a deal breaker. Some people are into that kind of thing, clearly.
Clearly.
But not you. And that's perfectly fine. I would actually congratulate yourself a little bit that at least he's comfortable enough with you in your relationship to bring something up like this that is very difficult. But yeah, if that's a deal breaker for both of you, then it's a deal breaker, right? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Set him free to pursue his desires elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's not much else. There's not a lot to say on that one. It's either the thing. It's you're into it or you're not. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Do you find alcohol affects your sexual performance?
Well, only if
And this person had a bad experience.
only if you're if you're both drunk, it doesn't matter because neither one of you are going to remember it right in the first place, so it's irrelevant. So the only person it matters to is if you're drunk and the other person's not. Then yes, the answer is yes. If you're both drunk, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're so drunk that you're gonna have a bad sloppy experience, then you're likely not gonna remember it. So it's just or remember it accurately in the first place.
I remember falling off a bed one time.
Here's the thing: stop drinking alcohol and see what happens. So I'm just saying, alcohol is not your friend, people. It's called a poison. All right, so let's now get off my high horse. I don't want to be judgmental because it is what it is. People responsibly use it all the time. So, all right, what's next?
I'd like my boyfriend to be a little rougher, but I don't know how to tell him.
Hey, can you be a little rougher? But don't drop it on him at the moment. Or well, it depends on the person. Some people, if you drop it at the moment, they won't know how to process it. You need time to think about it. So you want to, have mentioned it maybe after the thing.
And I think I would be prepared to give a couple of examples, so he understands how far you wouldn't take it. He may all of a sudden picture whips and chains, and you're not interested in that at all.
Yeah, you have to be a little clear what you mean because rougher means what exactly?
Yeah.
Do you want a light spanking or do you want your hair pulled like it feels like it's going to be ripped at your head? There's two different things there. And both are okay if the person likes them. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next?
Okay. We have a last question.
Okay.
How do I, 22 female, having a higher libido than my partner, 22 male?
You handle it the same way men have to handle it. Just figure it out. There's no magic sauce to it. You have to get used to sometimes being told no without it taking it personal because it's really not. And it's harder for women than men because men are rejected all the time. A lifetime of rejection. So, not that that's good or anything, but we're kind of used to it. It has less impact on us. We aren't used to being rejected. So it feels more personal than it does. And it still feels personal to us, by the way. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it's magnified. Because women don't usually have to work very hard to get sex.
Oh, no.
No. And men have to work hard, so we're kind of used to being told no. So what do you do?
That came with a sigh.
So what do? You deal with it. You accept that there's a difference. And he accepts that you will have to find your own personal releases. Just like men do. And women have to deal with that uncomfortable reality. Right? That's how we deal with it. It's how humans have dealt with that imbalance of libido since the beginning of time. Why is it going to change now?
So, asking him to understand that you want to watch porn sometimes alone.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing personal both ways, right? That's the reality of the situation. You know, both these things feel personal, but they are, but not the way you think they are. Personal. They are personal, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you deal with it. You just learn to deal with it. There's no magic bullet. There's nothing like, there's no secret sauce. There's no one single conversation that you can have to make your relationship work. It just takes time, patience, empathy, and most importantly, love. And this month of September, make sure you find your cat, give it an extra pet or two, an extra scratch on the head or wherever your particular cat likes it. Or if your cat doesn't like being scratched, I don't know, find him a toy, whatever he likes to do. We've had cats that weren't all that friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't unfriendly. They just didn't like being petted. And so, which is fine, right? Everybody has their own boundaries. So for me and Lobby, we want to remind you can find all these questions and references at latelightLove.us. You can also send us your own questions and comments, suggestions at love@latelightLove.us. And subscribe, share, blah, blah, all that good fun stuff. And from me and Lovey, good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.